Hey there. Welcome to the Gyro Step Live, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast. For the first time in 2024, proudly a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Gyro Step Podcast Network, aka GSPN and Blue Wire. I am one of your hosts, Ty Windisch. I am joined as always by the just eating with this look right now. I've got to say, before we even get to the Bucks, this is an ensemble. Rohan Katti. Rohan said, "Hey, the game's over early enough. I can even do something after the pod. You are dressed to do anything in this town, Rohan. How's it going?"
I'm doing well. You got to dress for the occasion. And Ty, guess what? We get to talk about a good Milwaukee Bucks victory for what it feels like forever. The Bucks, as they've been saying all the time on the TNT broadcast when it's been broadcasting. We'll get into that. But they've been talking. Bucks have lost 5 of their last 8 games. It's been a tough stretch. I tried to make a fart noise on the last pod that my mic didn't register. Was that 2 pods ago? It's been that type of stretch for the Milwaukee Bucks. So it's good to see that they are absolutely blowing the doors off the Boston Celtics. Nothing warms my heart more, Ty. There's a lot of circumstances going in. Whatever. I don't care. I don't care.
We'll cover
I don't
it.
care.
No, we'll cover it. We'll cover it. But you're right not to care. I mean, this is about it's. You know what the funniest thing about this is? We got back-to-back games where Chris Livingston played like the whole fourth quarter, and the context could not have been more different against Utah. Chris Livingston played most of the second half out of pure necessity. Right now, Chris Livingston, and I mean right now, I think maybe the game just officially ended. I mean,
It just officially
we
ended.
went live just a little bit early. TNT took the game off TV, so we figured we were safe to start a little early. They did put it back on after myself and I think you and a lot of other Bucks fans said, "Hey, this is actually the only way we can watch this game, legally at least, or without having to pull up some random NBA app and watch a horrible broadcast angle with no commentary. So could we watch it?"
There was an angle where I was like, okay, am I allowed to watch this game? Went to the NBA app, tried to see what my watch live options were. There was one camera angle where it was just following Bobby Portis on the court.
The game he had, he earned that. I hope they added that mid-game just for Bobby. Before we get into the NBA, TNT of it all and all this stuff, I mean, let's just talk about what was, one of the defining wins of the Bucks season so far, certainly on the short list. And we'll put the negatives up front. Boston was on the second night of a back-to-back after playing an overtime game in Boston against the Minnesota Timberwolves, in which they won. Al Horford played that game, did not play against Milwaukee because he does not play both ends of back-to-backs. Kristaps Porzingis did not play against the Timberwolves and did play against the Bucks, so he was at least fresh. The rest of the Celtics were not, but they were on a rest disadvantage. There, we said it. You don't need to remind us of it later when we're excited about how this game went.
The
It
Celtics,
happened.
by the way, Ty, they're the first team in NBA history to play a road back-to-back. I don't know if you're aware of this. They're the
Yeah.
first team ever.
The Bucks definitely were not playing an extremely road-heavy schedule, including a 4-5 night, mostly on the road, set of games just before this either. Here's the thing. The Celtics have 5 guys listed among the 10 top vote getters for All-Star in the Eastern Conference, and they all played in this game. At a certain point, like rest disadvantage or not, it's a good win. It's a great win when you beat those guys so bad, Missoula starts replaying the town early and doesn't even put in the starters in the second half. They took them all out. They didn't play a minute in the second half. And in the first half, before that happened, let's go start with Damian Lillard. Made his return after missing the Utah game. The TNT game, the broadcast got into when they were showing the Bucks game, which was a great part of their coverage, I thought, when they showed the game that they are contracted to show on television as a television provider. I thought that was really nice of them. But they had a nice bit about, Dame's been going through a lot off the court. Fans don't always recognize how that impacts him, all these things. It seemed like the time off did Dame some real good. He started red hot, 2 very thrilling threes off the dribble, ends up with 21 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, no turnovers in 27 minutes, shot 50% from the field, 37.5% from 3, and had 6 free throws. I thought he set the tone in this game. Dame came out firing early on. When he came back in after his customary rest break in the second quarter, same deal. Even though the threes weren't falling the same after that, he got to the rim. He opened up plays for everyone else. And I thought the way he started the game, everyone else jumped on and said, "Oh yeah, we have this energy on both ends." It was just an awesome way, I think, for Dame to return. And, setting the stage. I mean, people were worried going into this game about the Bucks as a whole, and right from the first minute, it was like, no, they're here for this. Maybe they win, maybe they lose, but they're here, and Dame is certainly here for this one.
Yeah, it was great to see Dame get out to a red hot start. Again, hope everything's well with him. Uh, it's really good to see him come out here firing. Especially, it's hard to take context not into this. This is Drew Holiday's return to Milwaukee after his first game back after being traded. I thought he had a wonderful tribute video. The fans deservedly gave him a great standing ovation when that tribute was played. There's nothing but respect between the Milwaukee Bucks and Drew Holiday and fans, and it should be that way. Drew Holiday hopefully one day gets to come back to the Bucks. Hopefully his jersey's up there, but it is important to take that context into consideration. Like Damian Lillard coming into this game, he's like, oh yeah, this is Drew Holiday's return. I'm the reason he's not here anymore. I'm the reason this whole game has a lot of circumstances around it, and it's because of me. And I have to elevate my performance, especially after a lackluster stretch from him on the basketball court, for whatever reason that may be. But it was great to see Dame come out there firing, come out confident. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see confidence. One of the worst things I've seen about this Milwaukee Bucks team during that rough stretch, this past rough stretch, was that like every single thing the Bucks do on the court is indecisive. They're indecisive on offense. They're indecisive on defense. No one was confident in what they were doing. They came out there looking confident, and Damian Lillard was the emblematic of that with his early shot selection, and frankly, like his early defensive communications too. We'll talk about that a little bit more later, but it was very great to see. And I think you're right. Dame came out there, he set the tone early, and Bobby took it from there in terms of tone.
Bobby, I mean, and Giannis. I mean, let's do Giannis quickly. We'll probably get back to him, but I mean, let's
do the best player in the world quickly.
Yeah, real quick. I mean, Bobby deserves a lot of chat because obviously we had talked extensively about how Bobby wasn't playing well enough. And after a bad start, I think he was 1 for 3. He made a putback and missed both of his post touches after you had shared that interesting data about his post-ups and everything else. He went on fuego after that. But Giannis Antetokounmpo in 25 minutes, 10 for 13 from the field against the second, third best defense in the league. One of the best defenses in the league. Second, thank you. 4 for 5 from free throw. No comment on that. 24 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. A plus 38. Milwaukee nuked the Celtics when Giannis was on the floor. We saw Drew Holiday as the Giannis defender. He did have some successful possessions where Giannis lost the ball. Giannis did have 4 turnovers.
Pulled the chair out from under him once, which was fun.
Had a good chair pull. Giannis almost made that too, which was, I was like, oh wow, maybe a travel, who can say? But overall, Giannis fought for the advantage. He got to his spots. You could tell, everything about this game from the rotations, which we'll talk about Griffin later. Don't think he's going to be fired tonight after all. To the way the shot selection.
I've heard the players don't want to play for him anymore. Yeah. I've heard he's lost it.
I mean, Boston,
I've heard he's lost the locker room. I heard some friends sitting near the Bucks bench. That's what they told me.
I wish I had friends and I could have some. No, I have Rohan. I have friends. The other
you always have a friend in me, Ty.
Yeah, thanks, Rohan. But like Giannis was not settling for anything. He had a couple beautiful jumpers. That jump hook, every time I see him, that little spin, I'm like, thank you, Hakeem. Appreciate you, Hakeem, for all you've done, because they did have that workout, and I do feel like Giannis's little jump stop hook is looking better than ever. But, I mean, there was no touching Giannis offensively from the Celtics. He was able to penetrate that defense. And, of course, Al Horford is a good option on Giannis, who did not play. But Drew Holiday is an all-world defender. Porzingis, honestly, one of the probably biggest takeaways for me in terms of the actual matchup, Porzingis got bullied by the Bucks. And again, this is the guy not on rest disadvantage. He did not play last night. Whether it was boxing him out, Ajax and Chris moved him like he was fast PP. I mean, he was getting put out of bounds on some of these box outs. They were moving him
more than fast PP.
Yeah. Wait.
Which it has been a trend for Porzingis against the Bucks. I was saying that Chris and Ajax were moving Kristaps more than they were able to move fast.
Oh yeah, I mean there is a center of gravity thing there, but still it was like almost jarring to see a rookie come in and just absolutely get him out of the way and prevent those offensive rebounds. But back to Giannis, I mean 5 offensive rebounds, he got everything he wanted. He was totally in control the whole time. He made the right plays, and it was a statement. You could tell Giannis, Dame, Bobby, the rest of the team, They were intent on making a statement tonight, and they made a loud statement.
They truly did. They came out here. They knew it was going to be a statement game, and you're right. You said it perfectly. They came out here and they made a statement. Can we just first before we get too into it, because I do want to talk like some of my new granular X's and O's and stuff with
we
you.
have to.
What loser energy to just pull your starters after the first half.
Yeah.
Just what, like, that's disrespectful to the game of basketball. You could tell the Bucks were just like, what? Do you not think Adrian Griffin wants to do that? Obviously he wants to do that. He doesn't want to put his guys out there, but there are certain
I disagree. He likes to keep them in. Griffin does not play with leads. That is one thing. I was like, I saw some like, oh, are the Bucks going to take their starters out right away? I was like, no, they're not. They don't play again until Saturday. They had 2 days off before this. They're going to play a lot of this third quarter and let these guys continue this rhythm and just make sure, because I mean, this is a bench unit with fast PP and Sam Hauser. Like, you don't want them to get hot from three and keep that game going.
It is one of the worst bench units in the league, though.
But I'm saying just two guys who can knock down shots and get hot, especially Hauser. I mean, why play with that when you need the win? You're on a slide. And I'm glad the Bucks did not play around. I mean, they kept the guys in for a lot of the third quarter, fourth quarter that was kind of over by then. But I think that is the right thing to do. But still,
what did Doc Rivers say last season? They didn't play with their meat.
They did not play with their meat in this game. No Buck plays above 28 minutes though, which is very nice. As the games start to pile up here, we are more than halfway through the season, I believe now. So being able to get through a tough game against a tough opponent, granted, of course, again, rest advantage, we all know. Still an awesome win. Let's talk about Bobby Portis. We can't wait anymore. Bobby leading the Bucks in shot attempts, and this time no one will argue with that decision, mostly because Bobby buckets, knocks down 5 of 6 of his threes. I mean, he hit 2 early ones that helped blow this game open. At one point, Milwaukee went on was it more than 20-0 run?
25-0 run.
25-0 from the end of the first quarter, midway through the second quarter, which is really where, I wasn't calling it over at that point, but that's where the game got a little unserious for the rest of the second quarter. The Celtics went on a little 4-0 run. I'm calling the no Dame, no Giannis groups Chris and Friends now. Chris and Friends did well enough, though, didn't let Boston really claw into the lead. And then Dame and Giannis came back in, and quickly it was like, oh, okay, yeah, they're done after all. And then, of course, Joe Mazzulla, again, just decided to not even try in the second half and just give it to the bench players for Boston.
Again, first team to ever play a road back-to-back.
Yeah.
With the way they were acting.
It's tough.
It's tough. It's not like every other team in the league does it.
Boston and Milwaukee is an arduous 4 or 5 hour flight. I mean, that's brave. That's brave of them.
I know. I honestly respect the Celtics for even showing up.
Yeah. I mean, hey, the Bucks didn't show up much in the first 5 games of 2024. So
that is fair.
We shouldn't talk too much. But Bobby Portis, 28 points, 12 rebounds, 11 of them.
12 rebounds. I'm glad you said that. 12 rebounds, because that's what I wanted to focus on. Is that him on the glass really, really impressed me.
He was
locked in. He was going up for the boards. One thing that has killed the Bucks, I believe they're a bottom 5 team in second chance opportunities in the league this season. And it's just killed them because they're not able to get rebounds. They don't have bigger guys. Their backcourt is a little smaller. They don't have bigger guys off the bench to really allow them to go out there and outmuscle guys for rebounds. So they've been really, really struggling in the rebound department. They've been giving a lot of offensive rebounding opportunities, leading to second chance points, leading to bad defense, leading to just a bleh stretch. And it was really, really good to see the Bucks focus on absolutely going out there and rebounding the ball, going up for it. It's the simple things in basketball. Who was it? Was it Taurean Prince who gave that press conference when he was in college, where he's just like, someone asked him, how do you go rebound the ball? It's like when the ball comes off the rim, you go up and grab it. It's like sometimes basketball is really simple. 2 hands. Well, the Bucks went up with 2 hands.
They did.
And they went and they got rebounds today, which I really, really appreciated. They were tapping out to teammates. It was a team rebounding effort, and it was very fun to see. They out rebounded the Celtics 60-45 in this game, and without looking, it's one of the best rebounding performances I've seen from the Bucks in a while. And guess what? That actually leads to opportunities on the offensive end. And guess what? You give up less points. Again, sometimes basketball is really, really simple. Go get the defensive rebound.
Well, I'm glad you said it's simple. I'm glad you said it's simple too, because I thought, like how simple did the presence of Great Dame make the first quarter? Everything was easier. You know, the Bucks are in half court defense more. Obviously, offense is a lot easier when you have that guy playing like that. And oh yeah, Giannis is still down low. Honestly, one of the funny, Chris actually did not have a good game offensively. Well, I should say shot making. He did have 7 assists in 20 minutes. Like Chris just eats. Even when it's just him out there, Chris and friends, but certainly when it's him, Giannis and Dame, he is eating. But 2 for 9 from the field, 1 for 5 from deep. That's okay, Chris. Get the stinker out in this one. The Bucks did not need any more than he offered. But to your point on rebounding, Boston had 7 offensive rebounds. 3 of them were Neemias Queta, and I think I said that wrong. Sorry.
Queta.
And Lamar Stevens. So those were only garbage time guys. So at most, Boston had 4 offensive rebounds in the real game. Again, to my point earlier, like the Bucks were working even when Brook got out of position on his big Kristaps Porzingis. The wings were really working to not give up those offensive rebounds. It felt like right from early in the game, the Bucks knew, okay, we're not going to lose on the same things we've been losing on. We're going to close out hard on 3-point shooters. And we saw that Boston started out, even for playing good defense, Boston was unseasonably low from deep. But for the most part, a couple breakdowns, but Milwaukee was not letting those shots go off easy. There was a little know your personnel. I mean, they were letting Drew shoot off the dribble from straight on from 3, which I think generally is a pretty solid decision.
Love you, Drew, but it's a good defensive strategy from the Bucks.
It generally
especially
works out.
In big games.
Yes. Sorry, Drew, but glad he got a standing ovation. Drew earns all the respect. Yada yada yada. But the Bucks didn't give up offensive rebounds. They mostly got back in transition. I mean, a couple Celtics buckets came in semi-transition, but not a ton. The Bucks weren't getting totally scrambled. Milwaukee did not turn the ball over very much at all. I mean, they end with 9 turnovers, but again, 4 of the 9 came from Marjan Beauchamp, Chris Livingston, and Thanasis, who only played in the 4th quarter of the game. So for the first real part of the game, Milwaukee is looking at
it was Giannis having 4 of them and Brook Lopez having 1, and that's it.
Yeah, that was it. So 5 total turnovers. Again, those turnovers just make it so, you know, you're not able, the other team's not getting out and running enough. And at least 1 or 2 of Giannis's, probably maybe 1 was an offensive foul. So that, at least that's a dead ball turnover. You know, Boston isn't able to get out and run on that. So Milwaukee played to their strengths, I thought, really well. They came out fired up from the early tip. It was a very, I think, inspiring performance. And I mean, we talked about this game as an inflection point, and I think that the default was to view it as the negative inflection point. Take the lump tonight on national TV against Boston, and there's going to be a rotation change, there's going to be a trade, there's going to be a roster move, there's going to be a coaching change. It turns out it was a positive inflection point, and that's obviously the preferred result, and this could be season changing in its own way. I mean, now it's on the Bucks to go take what they've did well in this game and carry it to the back-to-back this weekend against Golden State and Sacramento, both at home, and have some good games there. You don't need to win both of those games necessarily. That obviously would be great, and Golden State is really reeling right now, so it's a good time to play them. But
Golden State's going through it.
Yeah, they're like the dynasty dying in front of us kind of. Steph is like, yeah, we got to change stuff up. Yeah, I don't mind it at all. But like carry through the good play. You know what I mean? Like losses happen. It is what it is. But let's not have anything like we saw first halves against, you know, Houston, against Utah. I mean, a lot of San Antonio, of course, the Indiana games late. Like, let's keep this energy going. And I think the Bucks are poised to do that now after getting this done. It felt like just a lot of pent-up frustration came out in this game too, which couldn't happen to a better team than Boston.
It really couldn't. Oh, by the way, the Bucks have a back-to-back. I thought only the Celtics could do that. Sorry, I'm going to keep doing it.
They're going to have 3 and 4 nights too. I wonder how much grace they're going to get from
Is that legal? Is that legal?
Involved.
I can't believe Adrian Griffin's going to let them play against the Sacramento Kings. I can't believe it. Watch them rest everyone.
I would be shocked.
I would be shocked too, but it's just trying to get into a little deep into it now. One thing I thought the Bucks did really well was on the defensive end. Guess what? They were communicating really well. I highlighted this. I tweeted about this. But the Celtics early on, when this was still an actual basketball game that was being played, besides just a half of garbage time, it was the Celtics trying to isolate Kristaps Porzingis on Damian Lillard, Malik Beasley, whatever point like guard was in the game. That's what the Celtics game plan was. They were like, okay, we're down a little bit. Let's get some easy buckets, get back into it. And it's easy to do when Kristaps Porzingis, who's 7'1", 7'2", something like that.
It's like yeah, 7 something, more than just 7 foot. He's big.
Yeah. He's a massive, massive dude. And when you have a smaller backcourt, when you have Damian Lillard, you have Malik Beasley, you have Pat Connaughton in there at times, it's easy to go mismatch hunting, especially when the Bucks are going to be switching a lot, which they have been doing. So you go out there, you have Kristaps set a pick, he sort of backs his way down, and then he catches it at like the elbow and tries to do his face-up moves. What the Bucks did really, really well, and what I haven't seen them do a lot this season, was immediately after that screen happens, they're scram switching out of it. They're scram switching out of it. And the most impressive part, you know what it was, Ty? It was Bobby freaking Portis who was quarterbacking the defense.
He was hustling.
He was quarterbacking the defense. I was like, what is happening?
That's what we need to see from him, though.
It was great. It was amazing to see from him because he was like, yep, no, you go. I'm going out here. He was pointing out, hey, no, go take that guy. I got Porzingis. So it's like, obviously he's still smaller than Kristaps, but it doesn't make it an obvious mismatch where you need to go send help, leave a guy wide open. No, as soon as the screen happens, before you even allow the entry pass to happen, while the guard, by the way, is still going to be like pressuring the ball handler, trying to delay that entry pass.
Yep.
Just being able to execute that scram switch immediately, which is what I was talking about earlier. Indecisiveness has killed the Milwaukee Bucks. They were very, very decisive in everything they were doing tonight. I was very impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Adrian Griffin defense, you can be wrong, but if you're fast and decisive enough, you can make up for it. I think we saw that at various times, whether it was the scram switches or, just a trap where it's like, okay, you rotate there, you rotate there. You could see they were kind of feeling it out in real time, but they hustled enough and they were in control enough that they didn't give up the open shot. And then even if you don't have your ideal cross matching, like if it's really bad, you can run the scram switch that you just outlined that Bobby Portis was doing a great job of the whole game. But if it's just kind of bad, I mean, the Bucks don't need to be a great defense. They need to be okay. When you're an okay defense, you just want to force the other team into shots that you can live with. That to me is the barometer of this version of the Bucks, of their defense functioning well. It's like, can you live with that shot? Jaylen Brown pull up, not wide open, for sure. Porzingis trying to put something up over Bobby Portis, 16 feet out, definitely you can live with that, right? Tatum trying to size up Chris or Giannis, but not fully getting open. Like, all shots that you can live with. I thought Milwaukee did a great job for the most part. I think one of the big things to learn from film will be Jaylen Brown doing some really effective cutting. Some of Boston's only consistent offense in the real part of the game in the first half was late in the shot clock. Jaylen Brown just getting kind of inside leverage on usually Dame or sometimes Beasley and getting all the way to the cup. That's something to watch. I think probably just needs some more help there and some more switching. But that's what I mean, like, do something. Go for the ball. Stop the ball handler, and you just have to trust the defender that you're helping is going to rotate. Someone else is going to rotate, and they did that. And it was really nice to see this maligned defense actually work. Again, benefited by rest advantage, shooting variance, whatever. Still, the execution was good. They weren't getting horribly beaten by this Boston Celtics super team. They were staying in front of their covers. They were recovering. They were forcing the kind of shots you'd like to see. And that was as encouraging as the offensive flurry that we saw, even if the offensive flurry was maybe more fun and, elicited more yelps of joy from me.
No, for sure. And another thing that really caught my eye is the Bucks recognized, like you mentioned Jaylen Brown. One thing I noticed that was really killing the Bucks early on was just straight curls from the top of the arc. Bucks guards were dying on Kristaps Porzingis screens. Brook Lopez was kind of stuck on an island. The ball handler would go around the screen, go all the way over top, and just cut right to the basket. Kristaps Porzingis throws a nice bounce pass. It happened multiple times for wide open dunks. And the Bucks adjusted. Bucks and Adrian Griffin adjusted. They went, okay, once we see that screen coming, we're gonna immediately pressure Kristaps. And we're gonna just make sure the ball handler doesn't have an easy path to the basket. We're gonna correct that immediately. Because that's one of the things that it's not gonna really improve in the Bucks defense is their screen navigation ability. Sure, you can try all you want. Like, I'm not gonna say that the Bucks guards aren't trying, they're trying. But at some point, they're just too small. They're not going to be able to do it. They're a small backcourt for a reason. They're great offensively, not suited to be the best defensively. They're going to die on screens a lot. So when you are able to mitigate things as they happen, including for your deficiencies, that's what you want to see. You want to see something like, okay, yeah, the Bucks aren't going to really survive doing X. Let's try Y. Let's see if it's a little bit, let's see if it's a little bit better. And again, it gets to what you were saying. Can we live with that shot? Because this Bucks team is built for that. They're like, can we live with the shots that they're taking? They're not going to be a juggernaut defense. Like, they're not going to keep the Celtics scoring 38 points and a half again. I'm not insane. That's not going to happen again. But can you make shots a little more uncomfortable? Can you force them into different types of shots? Yes, and that was on display for the Bucks.
And Jack pointed out another adjustment. Lopez getting some assignment on Drew in the corner. That classic, okay, put him on the least threatening perimeter player. If that guy wants to shoot over Brook, fine. But we're not going to let you drag Brook out into those actions. We're just going to go switch them, and then we can scram from there. Another nice thing to call out, and another good pivot from Milwaukee. I will say, they're not going to score 38 and a half very often. Boston scored below their season average at home the first time these two teams matched up too. I mean, this is 2 games now of the season series. This one people will throw out. I won't. I mean, it happened. It's an NBA game. I don't see the 2022 Eastern Conference semis thrown out all too often. I think those counted, so I'm going to count this one as well. But the Bucks defense has not been atrocious against Boston. I think that matters. I think that matters a lot. I think this is a defense we hope will be better. Jay Crowder played neither of the matchups. I think we both agree we would still like some perimeter defensive juice added somehow to the roster, especially someone who can guard guards. But the Bucks defense in 2 settings so far has held up against the Celtics, whatever the context for both may be. I think that's a good sign. I mean, it would be great if, Washington didn't score more than Boston against the Bucks in both of their games now across 4 total games. But I would rather, I guess, give up points to Washington than Boston, given how both factor into the playoff picture.
For sure, for sure. Again, these are actual NBA games that happen. I mean, you couldn't watch some of it, because once TNT took it off the broadcast, it was just unavailable to watch in a traditional broadcast sense for that portion of the game. Which, by the way, the NBA totally realized that, and they're like, "Oh my God, we actually can't do this."
Yeah,
like
I mean, this is
actually very like against our contracts.
Yeah, we just took the game off the air. You can watch it on the app and go to 2K Vision or whatever.
It crazy. But you're right. This is an actual NBA game. That happened. Whatever the circumstances, there's going to be circumstances for whatever.
Yeah.
Just get back into regular discourse, regular discourse. Like anyone talks like this in real life.
There's never been regular Bucks discourse, and in the time the franchise existed either.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like every playoff run, it's like, oh, blank was hurt, X was hurt, X was. Yeah, guess
talk.
what? Things happen every year, every game. You can go through every single game in NBA history and say, oh, but what about this? What about this? What about this? Guess what? That's called life. Maybe some of you should try it. Not you listeners, because you listeners are obviously like smart and intelligent if you're going to be coming here and listening to this. I'm talking about the general discourse around basketball.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's get back to the game. Before we get too meta. Malik Beasley, we talked about, still has his defensive challenges. Listen, still a flamethrower as well. And I think even if there's a player brought in that makes more sense to start with Dame, whatever, Beasley is going to be a useful weapon for this Milwaukee Bucks team. 6 of 11 from the field and 4 for 8 from deep in this one. Continues to just be an absolute flamethrower whenever he has even a little window of space. Also had 4 rebounds, no turnovers, no fouls, 16 points plus 18 in 27 minutes. Just a real nice game from Bees. I mean, nothing spectacular to call out. Actually, one thing I do want to call out. They let him work off the dribble a little bit in the first half. I like when they do that. I don't like when his shots totally rely on getting past the ball while wide open. Like sometimes they don't draw out much for him. Obviously, there's going to be some sequences where he just gets open because of the way the defense collapses on the primaries for Milwaukee. But let Bees get a little involved. He's a good offensive player. He is not Bryn Forbes. It's a bad comp. If anyone made that comp, that's a bad comp. Just generally not calling out anything in particular. But he can do more than just a stationary shooter. He had a nice little runner over Jason Tatum. I just think keeping him more involved is good. I think a couple shots early, it's good for a shooter or just an offensive player to have. So nice to see that from Malik Beasley and just have another good game here from Milwaukee.
For sure. Shout out Eric in the chat saying, love seeing Rohan reading comments.
Yeah, you've been cracking up.
the laughter. I mean, I can't help. The chat's been
The
amazing.
chat's been good. The chat's been real good. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. Join the GSPN Discord. Get notified. We always do the everyone tag when we go live. GSPN.info. Oh, you do it.
You got it. No, you got it. You got it.
I like
was
hearing
just
you
gonna
say
make
it,
sure.
though. You say it too.
GSPN.info.
Whoa, everyone's going to that link now. Linktree is going to collapse with the traffic. I think the next player to talk about probably Andre Jackson Jr.
Yeah, Ajax got the Tatum assignment at times in this game, which is just wild to see a rookie doing that. It's crazy. Tatum did like sort of
Got him in foul trouble.
He got him a little bit. He got him
Yeah.
because it was a classic vet versus rookie, like, hey, welcome to the NBA
Yeah.
type thing. Like, you think you could check me? Again, this is a pretty pro Jason Tatum podcast. Like, we have nothing against Jason Tatum.
He's just gonna go home to deuce and tacos, and even after a loss, he's gonna be doing okay. Good for Jason Tatum.
Yeah, good for Jason Tatum. Again, we're not gonna when I say pro, like, we have nothing against him.
Yeah.
Which is pretty pro, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ajax into it a little bit, but it was interesting to see during the broadcast, Stan Van Gundy, who has an interesting reputation amongst Bucks fans. Still can't pronounce Giannis Antetokounmpo.
It just feels like everything he sees as a foul is if the Bucks do it, and that's it. It just feels like that. I know I sound like Joe Homer right now. It just feels like that.
It does. It truly does. I guess he has to balance out Brian Anderson, who's always going to be who's always going to be
in good though.
BA does. BA is a true professional. Shout out to Timeout with Ty.
Yeah.
But real ones no. Real ones no.
All 10 of them.
If there are zero Timeout with Ty fans, I'm no longer here. But Stan Van Gundy, he pointed out on the broadcast, like, yeah, Ajax is gonna be he's gonna be a guy who's gonna fit into this Bucks rotation going forward. And it's like, first of all, he has been in the Bucks rotation, and second of all, he's right. Because you can see Andre Jackson Jr., though he did get into foul trouble, 5 fouls in 15 minutes, or little less than 16 minutes. You can see the defensive act. You can absolutely see it. We've been seeing it all season long, and we can see why I had to sign that apology for him earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Because he's been playing really well with the starters. He's been absolutely playing well with the starting group. He fits well with Giannis. He fits well with Chris. He fits well with Dame. Again, not his best showing as a Milwaukee Buck, but in a big game against a quality opponent, a team with the best record in the NBA, number 1 in the East compared to the Bucks, number 2. He could hang. He was there. Yeah. He was playing. He didn't get run off the court. I mean, I guess he did kind of get run off the court.
But it's in some of those
fouls, it's a different way.
His whistle is brutal. I mean, I posted on Twitter and Threads at one point, like, the Bucks need to send some of these into the league office and be like, hey, we get it. We know he's a rookie. We know there's a curve and everything. This guy is one of our best perimeter defenders, and he is not fouling that much. He does the chest bump. I'm not saying he never fouls at all. He fouls too much even on his own. But some of the ones from Tatum on these drives, it was like, okay, if you're going to get him for every time he's a little out of position, fine, if that's the rookie tax. You can't just blow the whistle every time he encounters an offensive player, period. He is a good defender. He deserves a better whistle than he gets. But yeah, I mean, the funny thing about Ajax is 0 for 2 from 3. Those were his only 2 shots, 5 fouls in less than 16 minutes. And the consensus was like, wow, what a great game. Because, he didn't shut down Tatum, but he looked like a good defender on Tatum. And again, he enables so much of what the Bucks want to do defensively because he is a whirling dervish out there, flying around, not letting shots get open, getting in passing lanes. Had a very nice game, 4 rebounds, 2 offensive, and 4 assists. And my God, I think Curtis in the chat asked, are we going to talk about his passing? We sure are. I mean, he is like, there was one when he got to Bobby Portis with it, or Brook, when it was like an offensive rebound that he was passing before he even secured the ball.
It was a Giannis air ball off a turnaround fade. He caught the ball and just whipped it out to Brook at the top of the arc.
He started his passing motion like before he caught the ball. Like it
just
was
great
out of
vision.
there in less than a second.
It was, and that what made it key. Given Brook's going to shoot no matter what.
Oh yeah, we know Brook.
He's going to shoot
that thing go.
Like Andre Jackson Jr. could have stood in the paint for a full 2.9 seconds and then passed it out. when whoever, I forget who was on the floor, got out to Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is getting that shot up no matter what. But it was good to see him have an uncontested look because Ajax got it out of there so quickly and got it to him so quickly, especially with Brook with a little bit of his wind up on his shot. It was just,
passer.
it was perfect. He is absolutely a plus passer. Absolutely a plus passer. So
and
right to point that out.
We're not going to do a whole Griffin segment, but just another coaching thing. I mentioned the 8-man playoff rotation. I mean, Ajax was the 8th. I mean, it was Bobby and Pat got in first. We talked about Bobby. Pat played okay. I mean, defensively, he's still kind of a problem, frankly, on the perimeter. He rotates well, but probably the worst of the 8 at contain on the perimeter. At least looked like it tonight. I mean, just kept getting blown by. It's not ideal. He shot the ball well in the Bucks skid, though, so that's at least a nice sign. But Andre Jackson Jr. was the 8th. Got the burn over MarJon Beauchamp. Got the burn over Cameron Payne. And I love that adjustment. The last couple of games that have been serious, Andre Jackson Jr. is their backup point guard. But because at least one of Chris Giannis Dame is always out there, he just brings the ball up, tosses it to Chris, and lets Chris cook. I think they should probably even do more of that when it's Chris and friends lineups because, again, Chris's weakest attribute right now is his handle and athleticism. And, he's posting up 60 feet away when fast PP picks him up, and it's always a little nervy when that happens. So maybe even let Ajax do that more. But I love that adjustment. I love saying, you know what, we're not even going to let you try and pick on campaign. We're not even going to see if it's a good or bad campaign game. Let's just keep all of the guys we trust out there, and that's it. And it was, I thought, a great 8-man rotation that did not leave room for the Celtics to get back in this thing whatsoever until they pulled all their starters. So nice to see Ajax kind of add that to his list of positions. And, I mean, we've talked about how MarJon, they use him to guard guards more. I mean, Ajax played point guard in this game, guarded Tatum, guarded everyone. I think he's just above MarJon at this point in the pecking order.
I think so. He showed in this game he was above MarJon in the pecking order. MarJon didn't play in the real game, and Ajax did, and this is a big game. I think that's pretty clear and definitive, and it's deserved based on the play that's been happening this season. Again, I signed that apology form for listeners who don't know what I'm talking about. Ty and I made a little friendly agreement before the season started. We were saying who was going to be a larger part of the Bucks rotation. I said MarJon, he said Ajax. I'll admit when I was wrong. I'll sign the apology form again.
There's a lot of season left.
I mean, over half the season, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got 3 months plus until playoffs. I'm not declaring victory on that at this point. It's looking good for me, but it's far from over, Rohan.
It is, but I have already signed the apology form, and I will do it again because, again, I was in a good spot. Either Ajax is really good or I'm right. So
yeah, exactly.
it's always a good spot to be in.
Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, I mean, who else do we need to talk about in this game? I guess Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez was the guy who was getting picked on defensively.
The last one early on. The real players. Yeah.
He was getting picked on early on. The Bucks adjusted, as we've been talking about already. Thought it was an all right game.
Yeah, but the shots fell, and that always helps a ton with Brook. I mean, he was knocking down crucial threes. He was 3 of 4 from 2, 2 of 4 from 3, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for Brook, which you don't see every day. I thought he, too, when we talked about kind of the playoff poise and mentality, I thought Brook did a good job of not forcing. I mean, 8 shots is not nothing, but I thought he mostly took good shots tonight. I thought he had a good balance of shots. He ends up with 2 blocks. I thought, he's important enough to the team. You don't just want to take him away entirely. So I do like to see when Griffin tries different things to make sure Brook can stay out there for longer because he does give the Bucks a lot. I know it's been a tough go for him. I don't know if you got to read Eric Name and Seth Partnow's piece in The Athletic today about the Bucks defense, and Brook's underlying rim numbers are still really good. So he's looked bad at times. I think he's kind of a victim of the perimeter defense and the new scheme. But I'm glad to see him be able to thrive out there against Boston, which is one of his toughest matchups for sure.
For sure. Going back years now, Boston has been like it hasn't even practically been the boogeyman. It's just been the theoretical boogeyman. It's like, if anyone has the personnel to play Brook Lopez off the floor, it's Boston. It's Boston. It's Boston. I actually think getting Kristaps Porzingis makes that a little less true because they have one of their most important players be a 7'1" guy who's going to be like either like on the perimeter or and he's not the fastest guy on the court. So you can, I mean, given he's still faster than Brook, but
Faster
most
than
players
Brook.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most players are faster than Brook, but it's I think it makes it a little less of a problem to have Brook Lopez out there. If you match Brook Kristaps minutes, I think you'll be fine. Maybe not even fully match it, but even have like
Oh
a
yeah, you can throw him on Drew
like
here or there. I don't think Horford is as scary as some do at this point in his career.
yeah, for sure. Whatever trips to Germany Al Horford's been on during his time in Oklahoma.
Some good
Out,
ones.
oh yeah, he's been on some good ones. One day it'll come to an end.
Dude,
Man's 37. Why is he still doing this?
We're getting into a LeBron point with him too, where it's just like, really? Still?
He's 37, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Al Horford is 37 years old.
Imagine your horror if he was like 33, actually.
Oh my God, I might stop.
He's going to play another 10 years with the Celtics.
Oh my goodness. But
speaking of old 30-year-olds, Bucks, can we just relax on the PJ Tucker stuff?
yeah, I think we can.
He's 38. He turns 39 during the playoffs this year.
And is an impossible get because one, he's not going to get bought out.
He has another year after this season, crucially.
Too much money.
Yeah.
And two, he's not
old.
Playing for a reason. Yeah. I was like, wait, I had a two to this.
It's old.
It's not just the one.
Old.
Yeah.
Chad is crying for it. Let's talk about AJ Green. We'll do Bucks stock market soon after this too to wrap up the podcast. We can talk about longer term takeaways as well. And we have some big news to discuss later. Real ones, no. I'm very excited. We'll get to it.
Yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
But AJ Green, baby bird, 3 for 6 from the field, 2 for 5 from deep, 1 of 1 from free throw. He shot his free throw on a gorgeous 4-point play that was fouled, made the 3, and stood there for a minute. And I was like, okay, AJ, you savor that moment. Had 9 points in 8.5 minutes, as well as deep breath. 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, no turnovers, 1 foul. He's just good. Like, he's a good player. I may sound like like reductive or like it's not saying enough. No, like I think he is a good overall NBA player. I think between him and MarJon, the Pat spot is in, and Crowder coming back is in doubt.
And just Pat in general.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the other part of the equation for sure. And hey, we talked down on Bobby, and Bobby played awesome. So maybe Pat comes out and has a 30-point game or something now. We would certainly cherish that. But
if
AJ
Pat
Green
drops 30 in the next game, I'll buy a Pat jersey.
Why do you always say the next game? Let Pat drop 30 this season, Rohan. It's 30 points.
Bro, why do you want me to buy a Pat jersey?
That's more than he scores in a week.
I don't know. I'm trying to make it just let me have it. Okay?
I tried to manifest me doing the shimmy today. I said, let Bees shoot 23s in the second half. Who cares? And it didn't happen.
Oh, yeah, it's 10 threes, right?
Make 10 threes, I'll do a shimmy.
Okay. Are you telling me you haven't practiced the shimmy just on your own time?
I've not practiced it.
Really?
I'm worried I'm going to throw out a hip or something. I'm old.
Nah, you'll be fine. I've done it.
It would be fun if it happened now because I would go out in the snow and I would do it there.
Ooh, you got to go full Urson in his driveway? Real ones know.
Yeah. Legend.
But yeah, between MarJon and AJ, but yeah, Pat's spot is up for grabs. But AJ Green just is a baller. It just turns out that GSPN bump is real.
Yes.
If you want to learn more about AJ Green, go back to our summer podcast which we did with AJ, which was a great time.
Super chill guy.
Super great guy, super fun to talk to. It's an evergreen conversation. But yeah, I think he's been playing really, really well. He's regained his shooting, which he sort of just forgot how to do early on in the season, which was very, very bizarre. But he's coming back to reality of him just being a sniper from 3-point range. And again, it's not like he did an incredible job from 3 tonight. 2 of 5, 40%. Like, that's good. That's like the Bucks will take that after the recent stretch. So yeah, between him and MarJon, who just didn't have the best performance in the world.
He just kind of ran around, got cardio.
Yeah,
he didn't too much time with TA. You could see more of a TA influence in his game tonight.
Yes, a little bit. We'll talk about TA's dominance in a little bit.
I'm not letting you give him enough stock. I won't do it. I'm going to get out ahead of this.
Not?
No.
Why not?
He committed 3 fouls in 1 play.
He was
4 fouls in under 9 minutes of garbage
honestly
time.
That's honestly makes the upstock worth it.
No, it doesn't. That's not how the stock market works.
It
Could you
does
imagine if there
for
was a company? It's just like this company is so stupid. It's oh wait, I guess that is how Elon works. Maybe you're onto something.
Oof. Yeah,
Oof.
there we go. Uh, that was a good one.
Thanks.
But yeah, Marjan, not the best showing.
Chris Livingston didn't get a chance to show much, but still looks solid.
Yeah, I mean, we're still running off the high of that Utah game where he was just like, "Oh my God, is he a real rotation player?"
I think the
But
thing about he's fast for how big he is. It kind of
he
sneaks up. He
is.
stayed with fast PP on a drive and made him curl back out. And it was like, dude, you're jacked. How are you also quick? Which is bodes well for him going forward.
He's 20.
Yeah.
Oh, to be 20.
Okay, and shut up, bro. No one wants to hear it from you. I'm allowed to say it. No one wants to hear that from you. Cameron Payne actually had a kind of a nice game. I mean, he really, he played like it was the Cameron Payne show in that fourth quarter. He played a little bit in the third. 3 for 4 from the field, 1 for 2 from deep. Had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 7 points. A nice game from Cameron Payne. I mean, I think he plays in games that are maybe a little less serious or that have smaller opposition, but it wouldn't surprise me if we saw more serious playoff atmosphere games where his role is taken away just because he has not been consistent enough on either end so far. Oh yeah, AJ Green won a jump ball against a 7-footer, or at least like a 6'10" guy.
Yeah, for 7-footer and Kata. It was he got up there. He timed his jump perfectly. It was reminiscent of who was it? Was it Jared Bayless? Bucks legend.
Dude, it's always Jared Bayless.
It's always Jared Bayless getting that jump ball.
Jared Bayless
with the Chris Middleton game winner against the Heat.
Yep.
With the Zaza rebound to Chris.
Yeah, the crazy pass, like kind of over his head.
Yep.
That was good hoops.
That was good hoops. But this game was also better.
This was great hoops. This was great hoops. There's good hoops and there's great hoops. The game I love is back.
What else do we need to talk about in this game?
I want us to spend a little time being poetic about how it feels to see Dame hit those pull-up threes. So I'll tell you, these are some things I threw out there. It feels like the first warm day after a long winter. I also think it feels like the first sip of an ice-cold beer after a long, sweaty day. I also think it feels like, first drive with the windows down in the summer.
See, I'm not a windows down guy.
I'm not always, but I don't do it all the time, but just like to get some air. We don't have to debate this now. What does Dame make you feel like inside?
Oh, man, that's a loaded question. It's going out after a nice warm summer day and seeing the sunset on the water.
Oh, how about you look up even if you're in the city and you can see a bunch of stars and stuff? One of those rare
perfect clear
beat the
night.
light pollution nights, yeah.
Yeah. It's a good one.
When you pull up your feed and there's a new GSPN podcast.
Amazing when it hits your feeds because you're subscribed like you should be.
Yeah.
Hit that notification bell on YouTube, subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. But those are all good ways of describing what it feels like to see Dame hit those pull-up threes. Because man, those are nice.
I found inner peace. I really did. I just feel amazing right now.
It's like, wow, this is possible. Sorry, Drew.
You didn't have to apologize to him that time. You were indirect enough, but that's okay.
It felt nice. It felt nice for sure. Should we do stocks?
Yeah, let's do stocks. I think we're gonna have quite a few to give out in this game. So we can run through. Do you have the sheet up or do you want me to pull it up?
I can pull it up.
All right. Well, I think off the bat, I mean at least one to each of Giannis, Dame. You could say Bees and Brook as well. Probably 2 for Bobby, the way he's been dinged in recent games.
I think it's fair to say 2 for Bobby. He's had 5 straight down stocks.
Yeah, he earned that.
So 1 for Giannis, 1 for Dame, 1 for Brook, and 1 for who?
Beasley.
Oh, Beasley, yeah.
AJ Green stuck in there as well.
I think so. AJ Green, especially when he's only at 10. Again, you can find this link at gspn.info.
Bucks stock market, season-long returns, and more Bucks content. Are we rewarding Andre Jackson? I think probably not, even though it was a very great and fun game. I don't know if his performance merited. I mean, the passes were great. Missed both of his shots. Did get in foul trouble, even if it wasn't all his fault. I mean, it would be more, I think, about the good feelings of the win extending to him, but I'm open to what you think on that one.
I think a push is fine.
Yeah.
I think a push is fine.
Informal half.
Yeah. So, and then TA, obviously.
No, Rohan.
He's at 3.
That's fine.
Come on. Let me have something.
He doesn't look like an NBA player out there.
He hasn't gotten upstock all season long.
For a reason.
Let me have this.
What is Robin Lopez at? 1?
1.
Then we're good. There's balance in the universe.
It's just like, come on. Chris Livingston's at 3.
Chris Livingston looks like an NBA player. I know you're sick of hearing this counterpoint involving this data point, but I do find it an important one in this discussion.
I'll tell you what, though. Let's ask the crowd at Fiserv Forum whether they think TA deserves an upstock.
Should we ask the listeners? I can do a poll.
Yes. Yeah, let's do a poll. Let's do a poll.
Start a poll.
Start a poll.
It's live.
I hope the listeners, by the way, if you're not listening to this live, again, check out the YouTube, gspn.info.
Yeah.
Or it's just Gyro Step Podcast Network on YouTube. Make sure you search that up. Make sure you subscribe so you can contribute.
Rohan, don't vote. I see you're doing something over there.
Why can't I vote?
Because I didn't vote.
I voted.
Oh, come on. While we let the votes come in, we don't need to do a second by second update of the vote count here. Is there any stock movement for Adrian Griffin to discuss? I think the last 5 games were so wretched, probably not. Although I was
going to say he was probably he probably deserved a down during one of those games, and we'll say he deserved an up, so it's fine. The way
kind of evens. I would say, I mean, he adjusted his rear end off in those ugly games and pretty much tried everything. I'm fine with no upstock now. I think if they do go on a nice run this weekend, we can revisit that conversation later after that Kings game. I don't think he gets one right now. I think he's put himself in position to potentially get one later. 80% yes? How many accounts do you have, Rohan?
Amazing. I just voted the one time. The listeners know what's up. I appreciate you, listeners.
And we have over a quarter of our 100+ viewers at this point in the pod. Thank you all very much. Have already voted. We need to buy another minute. I need to see if this number stabilizes. This is crazy, though. We're almost at mathematical certainty that it's going to win already.
Yeah, we are. Where's what's his name? NBC.
Kornacki?
Yeah, Steve Kornacki. Yeah.
Or no,
Where's he at?
Is that the vote guy or is that the money guy?
I think he does both.
Oh, really? Oh, good for him.
I think so. He also does like Sunday Night Football.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he's on like Sunday Night Football doing playoff probabilities and stuff.
Oh, I thought you meant like on the sideline or something. And I was like, wow, he is really, he's got his finger in a lot of pies.
He does for sure. It's looking like TA gets an upstock.
This is why we don't do the polls on stocks very often. I mean, we can do it.
It's the Celtics quit after the first half. Let's have a fun time.
All right.
They quit. Right. They played one half of actual basketball. One.
It's true.
We're getting TA's upstock.
Does Campaign get one too?
No.
Narrative-driven Rohan, sad. The big media talking heads are only here to push their pro-Giannis Antetokounmpo agendas. I'll let you field all questions on this one when they come in, invariably.
That's fine. You'll still get the questions. It's
I know. I'm gonna, yeah.
That's the beauty of the setup.
Yeah, it is.
Do we have what else do we need to talk about? Do we need to talk about anything?
Oh yeah, we do.
Yes,
Rohan.
we do.
My number one midseason target is just sitting there, ripe for the taking. The Grizzlies lost Ja Morant for the season, lost Marcus Smart for the next 6 weeks, punting on the season. Released Bismack Biyombo. Big Biz. Remember, I was scheming up how do they get to the $5 million? That's an awkward number for the Bucks. They don't have to. He's just sitting there. Every team wants him. I'm seeing people who cover every team going, he'd be a great fit for the Nuggets. He'd be a great fit for the Raptors. He'd be a great fit for the Lakers. No. He'd be a great fit for the Milwaukee Bucks. Listen, Bobby Porter's playing awesome in this game. Makes it less important. But if Milwaukee opens a roster spot soon, it's going to have to be soon. Big Biz is sought after. The Bucks could bring in Bismack Biyombo for the price of basically nothing. Just the tax hit of if they waive someone, or of course if they trade someone away to open a spot. Oh, I hope they do it, Rohan. Give me that extra big depth. Even if but that's the thing. If he doesn't play every night, he probably picks somewhere else. This was a very good Bobby game, but adding Biz does give you some valuable Bobby Portis insurance and another true center option if you want that look for the Bucks. But I think he could switch a little bit. He's like a versatile.
You can do
big guy.
Bobby Biz lineups. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing preventing you from doing that.
I need it. I need it. Oh, I hope it happens.
I hope it happens for your sake too. I want you to be happy, man.
At least I'll do an emergency pod alone.
If I'm available, I'll do it.
I'll just pull up Biz highlights and we'll just watch them together. That's the pod. Look at that offensive rebound and pass.
Look at that screen. Honestly,
He's a good screen setter.
If he sets a good screen in that highlight, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, this is worth it.
Dude, think about that in Dame in the non-Giannis minutes, just springing him loose.
Don't have to put Brook in there. You can put Big Biz.
Yeah. Now you see in the vision. Bring me Big Biz. They signed Vince Williams Jr. to a 3+1 deal. The Grizzlies did. That's why they needed the roster spot.
Coming off a two-way.
Yeah, getting a better opportunity. Earned it. He's a good player. But yeah, it did open up Bismack Biyombo. So every time I see Woj and Shams, I'm like, oh, I don't care about this. Give me Bismack.
Is Rolo being an assistant coach now? Isn't that what you want?
Special assistant to Bango. Yeah.
Special assistant to Bango.
He didn't even play in this game.
No, of course not. He has the best seat in the house. So why would he want to get up from that?
That is true.
Is he collecting every jersey from every mascot? By the way,
I mean, you got from the mascot.
Is this like a retirement tour?
I mean, kind of has to be.
But like he's actively jersey swapping with all the mascots.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want to. Again, this is just pure speculation here.
You don't get aggregated.
Yeah. Hasn't happened to me in a while, but who knows?
Yeah.
We shall see. It certainly looks like it might be a retirement run for Rolo, unfortunately.
Again, he's got a lot of good mascotting and social media posting ahead of him.
Maybe he'll be Bango.
Dude, could you imagine?
Just a
7 foot, like 300 pounder trying to backflip off a giant ladder. That's why I said special assistant to Bango. I think Bango requires a smaller, lighter frame.
We can try him out. We can try him out as Pointer first.
Yeah, he can be Pointer is a lot lower risk. Pointer sometimes he's on a Segway. That's about as dangerous as life gets for Pointer.
I'm just imagining Robin Lopez doing the rim rocker stuff as Bango.
I feel like when he would go to jump on the little trampoline and just stay down.
It'd just break.
Yeah, he would just be like I'm on the hardwood again.
He'd put a dent in the court.
Honestly, though, it would be kind of fun if he just he could throw the rim rockers at the rim. Like they could just change how he's used.
He's the trampoline now. He just clips them off.
Now we're talking. Imagine the other mascots are just doing their thing, and all of a sudden Robin Lopez is jumping like that guy in court and just taking him down for real. Oh, Rohan's glasses are off, AirPods are popping out. Oh boy, Rohan's down.
Oh man, that took me out. Robin Lopez, I wish nothing but the best for you, man.
As Eric said in chat, there's the Lopez Brothers State Farm commercial. People have been wanting us to talk about this. It's a very good commercial. I
didn't know the Lopez brothers had cachet like that.
I know. I was like, wow, look at the Lopez brothers getting a little love on the big sponsorships.
I know, it's great. I mean, you truly love to see it. I have nothing bad to say about that.
How long until they got Brook and Skims?
Oh my God.
Just another NBA partner I thought of.
Brook and Skims would break the Bucks forever.
It'd break the internet, man.
It would. Can you imagine just the content that would be from just
you probably got to get both of them.
Teammates reacting to the Lopez brothers just in Skims. Dude, it's like they do the Shea one. They do who else is in that? Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah.
And then just
the Lopez brothers just back to back like this. like Lethal Weapon.
Oh my goodness. Oh, this is a good pod. This is a fun podcast.
Yeah.
Uh, do we have anything else, or should we sign this up?
I mean, we locked in the TA up stock, right?
Oh,
It's done.
absolutely locked
He's
in.
almost 80% of the votes and almost half of the viewers have voted. So yeah, that is resounding. I will cave. Otherwise, I don't think much else. We covered Big Biz, the number one NBA news item this week for sure. Bucks big win, of course, against
Oh,
Boston.
All-Star.
Oh,
Dame has lost. He's lost second place. Make sure you keep voting for
vote
Damian
for
Lillard.
Dame. Yeah.
He has never been an all-star starter before in his career. Let's make Milwaukee the place, puts him on the map.
I guess that makes Steph and Russ and everyone else that's been in the Western Conference. But yeah, Trae Young bumped him out of the spot. The Hawks are a pit of suck and sad, so he does not deserve that. He's having another nice statistical season that means nothing in the grand scheme. Although, if you ask him, he almost beat the Bucks. That's hang the banner for that one in State Farm Arena, Trae. That's a really great accomplishment you put together there. Congratulations to you for beating one of the most fraudulent teams of all time in the second round. The only time you won in the second round in your career. That was quite a shot for me, but I do hate those. 3 years later, let's talk about this series that the Bucks won despite Giannis missing the second half. Like, really? You're talking about
It's like
injuries when Giannis doesn't play half the series?
It's like if Trae didn't get hurt, but Giannis still did. It's like, what are you doing here?
They
Like, do you live in this reality? Do you live in this reality? Clearly not. Yeah, the Bucks, they almost lost every game one of that. Like, it took a Chris Middleton game winner to not let them lose game one against the Heat that year. They were just bad in game ones.
They still didn't win game one in regulation either. My favorite stat from the finals run is they did not win a single game one, and they never led after regulation in game one to that series.
It was crazy. It was crazy. So it's like, congrats to the Hawks for making the Eastern Conference Finals, which is more than Joel Embiid can say.
Yes.
But make sure you get those votes up for Damian Lillard.
The first time ever a pair of Bucks started the All-Star game together. So double history for Dame personally and for the Bucks franchise. So let's make it happen, Katti.
And keep voting for Giannis, who's the leading vote getter.
Yeah.
Still.
Yep.
Which I don't believe he's done before.
It's been LeBron every time.
So I think, for like 7 straight years, it's been LeBron who's been the leading vote getter because, like, come on, like, it's LeBron. But Giannis, let's make it happen. It could be triple history, the first Buck to lead fan voting. Because I'm just gonna go out on a limb and assume that's never happened before.
Well, maybe Kareem did.
Yeah, but
I don't even know if we can pull that up. I don't even know if
I don't know if that was a thing. I don't think fan voting was a thing back then.
Old people, let us know if Kareem won fan voting. Well, I'm not being mean, but I mean, if you remember how the All-Star game functioned in the early 70s.
People who were there is another good
elder
way of
statesmen. Our elders, let us know.
Yes, our respected elders. I'll say that.
That's what I meant to say. What was I?
Just said old people.
Well, respectfully. Hey, I watched that Stephen A. Smith video. I mean, there's more disrespectful ways you can be.
You watched the whole pod, right?
Of course.
Like I like to think we're pretty good at podcasting. I think the listeners would hopefully agree that we're pretty good at podcasting. We have absolutely nothing on Stephen A. I think Stephen A. is doing that by himself.
Off rip. Like, he had a couple pieces of paper. He just referenced them. He printed them out to be like, here's an article. It reads one sentence, then just talks for 20 more minutes.
It's crazy. No one will ever perfect. Again, I don't agree with definitely everything that Stephen A. has to say at all.
I agree
but it's
with
undeniable.
His take on Whitlock, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. But it's undeniable that man is a master of his craft.
He's an orator.
It's incredible. Like he spent an hour talking about like two topics.
Yeah.
And the by himself.
It was a captivating hour. And his take on the first topic was, I'm not going to say that much about this. That was like the over, and he had like 20 minutes, and it was like, oh my, and crazy. Like I put it in our crew, I was like, wow, I kind of view like the success of Pat McAfee different now after watching Stephen A. Smith talk about this for 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's a lot, but no, I recommend people check that out. I'm not gonna this will be the only time you hear me recommending like Stephen A.'s podcast.
The Stephen A. Smith show, his own pod, is not the same as First Take, and I think people should know that. If you're not going to check it out, that's fine. But we're not saying this because, he yelled over Mad Dog successfully or something. It was like just
Still
him.
have no idea who Mad Dog is.
No, it doesn't matter. It's just him in front of a camera. I said he would retire, didn't. He's a liar. He should retire. But yeah, because the Cardinals win the World Series.
No, the Rangers did.
Oh, they went. Maybe they I think they went, and he said he would retire if they did.
Cardinals didn't make the playoffs.
No,
Did they?
the who did I said I mean the Arizona team, the Diamondbacks. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
The
I
Diamondbacks, yeah. The Diamondbacks
was
won
like,
a series.
what?
I think that's why.
In my mind, like, am I going insane?
Cardinals live rent free in my Brewers fans' head. I did see during this podcast the Brewers reached a settlement with Devin Williams earlier today with Corbin
Oh,
Burns.
did they?
Yeah.
Oh,
They got
shoot,
Devin
okay.
during the pod. I got a Brewers app notification.
Make sure you check out Cruising for a Bruising, who's going to have that all detailed. Make
Did
sure
I
you check
lie?
out Talk of the Tundra. Did you lie? Did you just lie to everyone?
Well, I don't see it on the Brewers app. Oh no, it's on the BR app. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's not even ARB. They signed him. 1 year deal with a
Oh.
club option.
Okay.
And
Make
I
sure
think
you.
they beat ARB with Corbin Burns too. So a pretty successful pre-ARB for the Brewers.
Yeah. Cruising for a Bruising is going to have that covered. Make sure you check out that link at gspn.info. If you want to talk on the Packers in their wild card game upcoming against the Dallas Cowboys. Fun fact, Talk of the Tundra is recording right now as we speak.
Yeah.
So make sure you are subscribed and that'll hit your feeds soon. Find all that links at gspn.info. Again, for Talk of the Tundra, you can find it right here on this YouTube channel as well. Make sure you're subscribed here. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in live. We truly appreciate it. We tried to capitalize on these big games, and I like to see that the energy is here. The energy is felt. So it's such a good time being live with all of you. And if you're listening to this after the fact in normal pod, we also appreciate you. But come join us live. Make sure you check out the YouTube. Make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on for whenever we go live. We'll usually tweet about it, or it's in our Discord at gspn.info. You can get our Discord entry link there as well. Otherwise, just make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening to this, watching this. Check out gspn.info, like I've mentioned so many times. Pod random, and we will talk to you next time.